And I hope everybody had a great weekend. Welcome back to geography. This is the first week of new information. We're going to get right into our lecture today. Again, if you are available during the day in the mornings, please log on to Zoom sessions. It's much more personal. There's much more interaction. Lots more questions and answers and opportunities for you to just kind of get involved and get to know me and for me to get to know you. Again, these recorded videos, I'm going to go through really fast because it limits me to 15 minutes of information. So the goal today, the structure of today is we're going to take some notes on some basic elements of geography, and then there will be a short 8 or 9 question quizzes at the end that you'll take, and you'll need to get a 100. You can take it as many times as you need to until you get 100, practicing our different types of regions. Okay. Most of Unit 1 is information that a lot of you will already know. The purpose of Unit 1 is to get everybody on the same page. And so some of the things that we'll be covering this unit are things that you might remember learning in late elementary, middle school, and that's okay. A lot of it's going to be a refresher. But I know a lot of students did not spend their elementary and middle school years in a Gwinnett County school, and the structure and standards were different. And so some of it will be new. Today's stuff will probably mostly be new for most of you, but later in the week we're going to do lessons on latitude and longitude and things like that. And I know that those things are going to be already familiar to some of you. So let's get started. You will need a notebook today, some paper and pencil. Even if we're digital, I will expect you to take some notes. We will have unit tests. We will have quizzes. Your first quiz is going to be on Thursday, and you will want to make sure that you are staying organized, right? I can't imagine we'll be digital all school year, even all semester. And so you're going to want to have that information when you come back to school and we go back to like regular taking notes in class. We don't do this often in class, but since we're in a digital format and I'm limited to 15-minute lectures, we'll do this a little bit more often in the digital format. Okay, so question number 1 is, what is geography? What are we going to do in this class? The answer to that is we study everything. This is not just a class where you memorize countries and physical features and capitals, and there will be times where you do that in every unit, but this is much more designed towards the culture of people and landscapes and climate zones and government and economics and all of that good stuff that covers most standard social studies classes. Okay. So if I ask you on a quiz, what is geography? Hint, hint, it's the study of everything on Earth. Okay, there's a difference between human geography and physical geography. These are the two main types of things we study in here. Human geography is culture and characteristics of people, right? We spend a lot of time studying religion and culture traits. People are more interesting than anything, really. And so we spend a lot of time studying people because we're so different and we're so unique, and we want to make sure that we're accepting of all sorts of cool things. And so we learn a lot about people and language and culture traits. Okay. And then there's physical geography, which we spend some amount of time in each unit talking about landforms and water features and atmospheres and animals and things like that. We usually spotlight some fun animals in each unit, but most of our time is spent on landforms and people because people are interesting. I find people very interesting, right? Okay, so we have 2 main concepts today. Our first main concept is the 6 essential elements. I'm sorry I didn't highlight this in blue. Really, the things in blue are the things you should be writing down. Again, at any time, if I'm going too fast, just pause the video and do your thing. But I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. The first of our 6 essential elements is the world in spatial terms. Spatial is a word that you're going to hear a lot in this class. And anytime you hear the word spatial, spatial literally translates into maps. So spatial is just us looking at maps and deciphering information from maps, right? Whether it's a world map, a country map, a a state map like you see on the right of Georgia and all our counties, we look at maps. This is geography. And we learn a lot of information by looking at maps, not just where places are, but population distribution and demographic transition and population distribution and all sorts of cool stuff. So maps. Spatial means maps. Okay, that's the easiest way to remember that. Number 2 is places and regions. Our second big concept today is regions. So once we're done with our 6 elements, we'll go through the 3 types of regions. And the idea behind that is finding similarities, right? We live in the Southeast. Georgia's not the only state in the Southeast. We call it the Southeast because it's a region, and there are many states that have similar characteristics, right? From Kentucky to Louisiana to the Carolinas to Florida, this area has things that are similar, both people similarities and physical similarities with mountains and plains and Piedmonts and climate and all sorts of cool things. Okay, so places and regions is about physical and human features and finding things that are similar and different. Number 3 is physical systems. This is how the Earth's features are made. We spend tons of times on plate tectonics and natural disasters, right? Natural disasters are fun because it brings about destruction and death and violence, and those things are sad in real life, but they're very, very interesting to learn about because of the scope of those events. And so I think either later this week or early next week, we'll be going through plate tectonics and tsunamis and volcanic eruptions and all that kind of stuff. And that all falls under physical systems. Number 4 is human systems. This is just everything about people, from religion to globalization to migration to you name it. Anything that has to do with people is under human systems. So that's an easy one. And we spend most of our time on number 4. Number 5 is environment and society, and this is how people in the environment interact with each other. A lot of times this can be natural disasters and global warming and pollution and deforestation, and whether you believe in climate warm or global warming or not, people are affecting our planet, and our planet affects us. And what we talk about here is that relationship of how we affect each other. Okay. And then number 6, this is always the hardest one, and this is about the relationships between people, places, and the environment over long periods of time. So it's looking at patterns of the past and present to predict the future. Okay, and that's what the 6th element is all about, the uses of geography. How can we take what's already happened and use it to plan for the future? Okay. All right, so those are your 6 essential elements. Later in the week, I'm going to review them because you're going to do something over that. And so, but those are your 6 essential elements. Okay, pretty easy. Big concept number 1, complete. Well done. All right, concept number 2, regions. Regions, the official definition is an area with one or more common features that makes it different from the surrounding area. Okay, is the Sahara Desert different than the Congo rainforest? The answer is yes. So the Sahara Desert would be a region and the Congo rainforest is a region, okay, because it's something unique that's different than the areas around it. Okay, what you see here in this map is a global internet usage based on the time of day, and it's kind of difficult to see, but you can kind of see this little wave pattern that's kind of moving from right to left across the screen, and it's showing daytime and nighttime, and you'll see that internet usage changes over time, and you'll also notice that there are parts of the world that doesn't really have a whole lot of internet usage, right? Most of Central Africa, Northern North America, Greenland, obviously parts of the Amazon rainforest and Patagonia, and all of these things help us decipher what a region is. I know that may not be the clearest definition, but it'll get easier as we go along. Okay, so there are 3 types of regions, and then I'm just going to run through and we'll talk about some examples. All right, number 1 is formal region. Now, before you write the definition, you should notice that the definition of a formal region, if I go back real quick, is the same definition as a regular region. So instead of writing what's in blue, because you just wrote it, what we're going to write for our definition is the most basic type of region. You can even draw an arrow to the definition of a region that you just wrote the sentence before. So a formal region is your most basic type of region, right? Maybe we're just looking at a map of the United States. Is Montana different than North Dakota? The answer is yes. You probably have never been to either one of them, but it's very simple because they're different states. Those are called political borders. They're just very basic formal regions. Okay, the next two are much more exciting. Okay, examples of some formal regions. You've got climate maps, language maps, physical features, and countries and states. All right, the next one's called a functional region. Functional regions are about connecting people and places together so that they function as a unit. An example of this would be the highway system, right? I-85, I-75, I-20, I-285, they all connect us to other parts of the world. So these are unique types of regions. Okay, internet plans, right? Anything that connects or links us together, subway routes, train routes, plane routes. This is all about connecting us together. Pizza Hut delivery circles, right? Anything that's about connecting us, our key word is connect or link to other people is what a functional region is. And the last one is a perceptual region. This is based off of people's feelings and attitudes. There's no clear boundaries. Like someone could have a map and they're kind of circling areas they want to move in and making comments about it, right? I'll show you one in a second if we have time that shows what people in the UK think about different parts of America, right? So this is all about what people think, right? If I showed you a map of where people preferred Coke over Pepsi and vice versa, that would be a perceptual region because it's about how people think and feel. All right, we got just a couple minutes. I'm going to show you some examples, give you a second to take a guess, and then I'll give you the quizzes link. Okay, so high-speed rail system. This is about trains. What type of region is it? You should have said functional because it's about linking people together. Okay, Pizza Hut delivery service. Right? If you live inside the red area, you are connected to Pizza Hut delivery. What kind of region is it? Again, functional. Good. Most popular sports. What kind of region? Perceptual. Okay, this is based on people's feelings, right? What is their favorite sport? Most popular boy's name. What type of region? Again, perceptual. Okay, based on people's feelings. Worldwide driving orientation, right? Countries in red, drive on the right side, countries in blue, drive on the left side. This is a formal region. This is just giving you basic information about what side of the road people drive on. Okay, formal. Fertility rate, right? How many children per household in different areas of the world, right? When we get to Africa, we'll talk about why this one's such fun colors. This again is a formal region. What do British people think about your state? You can pause this to look at all the fun ones, but this is a perceptual region. Okay, on eClass in the content folder, you will find something titled Today's Date and the quizzes. It'll be a quizzes link. There's one for each period. Make sure you click on the correct periods link. And I believe it's 8 or 9 questions, and you can take it as many times as you need to get a 100. All it is pictures of different maps, and you're telling me what type of region it is. Okay, that is your graded assignment for today, so make sure you do it. I don't care how many times it takes you to get a 100, but get a 100, okay? I'm going to record your highest grade, so if you only take it once and you get a 10 or a 20, that's what's going in the grade book. So it's to your advantage to get the easy A. If it takes you a couple times to take it, I'm not concerned about how many times you failed. I'm concerned about the time that you succeeded and got it all correct. And so follow the link for your period, take the quiz, get 100, and you are good for today. Okay? All right. I will catch you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye. Have a good day.